Hello everyone. Today I'd like to show you guys my streetlight fixture here that I have above my 3D printer. This is my 1960s Revere UrbanLite fixture. Now, as you can probably tell, I'll take a little bit of a step back here. This thing is pretty small. You can see my 3D printer right there, and then you can see my little T5 fluorescent black light and the windows. And then, yeah, the fixture. When doing research on this fixture, I actually discovered an advertisement for it on eBay that is for sale. And I went ahead and read over it because I was kind of interested in seeing what its purpose was for. So it pretty much was just used for residential areas or areas where you don't really need too much light. I'm sure a lot of these were probably used on like commercial buildings or small like stores or like probably residential buildings or probably even houses. I have seen some photos of these used online in like mini golf places. There was a picture where I actually saw some used in a go-kart place. There's a lot of different lamp types too that they advertised it with. Obviously these things were definitely good for incandescent, and you could run mercury lamps in them. Thus, you'd have to have a remote ballast because obviously no ballast would fit inside this thing at all, with the slip fitter section being so small. But yeah, they really were pushing this thing to be used in a lot of different areas of lighting, it seemed like, with all the different lamps. I don't even know if I'd put a 250 watt in this thing. It'd probably be too hot. And putting in high wattage incandescents probably wouldn't be a good idea either. But I mean, it can definitely run all this stuff as long as you have the correct lighting technology with it. Now, the pictures that I've seen online of these are usually a little bit different. Usually on the slit fitter back here, there's actually an opening for the wires. Unfortunately, this one that I have does not have that. And there's also a different slit fitter clamp on the back as well. I think those ones are for different sizes, but this one right here is actually for a 2-inch arm. So when I had built this, I had to get a 2-inch arm assembly. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and I really like how tiny it is. These things are pretty darn rare as far as I know. This one I got from Marketplace. Someone was just selling it with a bunch of stuff. The seller had some signals that I was buying, and he actually happened to have this as well, just hanging around. So I went ahead and got it, gave me a really good deal on it, and I was really happy. But yeah, I was kind of surprised how small this thing was, because when you look at pictures, you don't really imagine something being this tiny. And let me just kind of bring myself into the camera here. But yeah, you can just see just how small it is. It's pretty much the same size as my head. So I think that's really cool that it's so tiny. But yeah, and if we grab a ruler off of my desk here, we can go ahead and measure, just do kind of a rough measurement. But you can see that, you know, the radius isn't even like an entire foot, which actually the ruler is upside down, excuse me. But yeah, you look at that, it's not even a foot in radius, which is quite interesting. Now, you can fit some fairly big bulbs in here, as we will see here in a little bit, but I just kind of want to go over it and show it to you guys real fast. So, of course, you can see the front here. You got this really nice glass refractor, and it's not low quality or anything. It's actually textured, as you can see. I know sometimes that foggy look is on newer glass, which makes it kind of low quality. But yeah, it's not low quality at all. It just has that really cool texture from the early 60s. A lot of street lighting fixtures around this time were going from that really nice texture look to a, you know, that more engineered refractor design. So yeah, you can see the glass. I think this is pretty much just a 2-way or a 3-way. But if we go to the bottom here, you can see some arrows actually. Yep, you can see there's an arrow right here. It actually says street side, so that's cool. But you can see the Revere logo, and it's really nicely embossed. You got the entire logo there with an actual like border around it. So they really cared about their glassware back then, which I really like. And if we go to the top housing here, it's pretty simple. Now I don't know if they painted this or what they did with it, but I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be silver. But it is a stamped aluminum refractor, pretty much like a lot of the lights here. So yeah, pretty standard, but it's nice. It feels solid. You know, they used really good sheets of aluminum back then. And then that part is actually screwed into the slip fitter. And you can see it says Revere on it, and you got, looks like a serial number or code name or something. But yeah, this whole back part is cast aluminum, and you got these 3 screws here, or lock nuts, whatever you want to call them. I think actually, is there one on the other side? Yep. So there's actually 4. But obviously these 2 are to help with the pivot, so you can pivot the fixture up or down. You are maybe a little limited, honestly, with this one, but no big deal. And then these 2 bigger ones on the side here, as we can see, those are just for securing it to the arm, really. They don't do much. And if we come back on this side towards the glass, you can see the latch here that helps to keep the glass in place. Just a really nice piece of stainless steel metal that's bent into shape to hold it. And for something small like this, I know it's not like an official latch or anything, but for something of this form factor, I think it's perfectly fine and does the job. And of course, we go to the front here. You can see the hinge for the glass. Again, you got these really nice pieces of stainless steel, and you got this piece right here that's screwed to the rim. Ooh, a little wobbly there. Really nice. And again, it's got some rivets up here to help keep it connected. It's really solid, really thick, and really shiny. So yeah. We'll go ahead and show you guys how to remove it real quick, and we can see the inside. Alright, so opening it is pretty simple. All you gotta do is pull back on that, kind of let the weight of that come down nice and slow. And then once it's hanging down, it's pretty simple. You just pull up and off like that, and the glass refractor is off. And real quick, we can take a little look at that glass again. See the Revere logo, and it says Street. And something I noticed on the inside is that there's also some text. Just kind of do a little bit of a pan. You can kind of take a look at that. It might be a little bit tricky to see, but you can see on that one outer rim that it says Corning right there. So it's pretty nice. I really like this glass. The only thing I'm not maybe too impressed with, and I don't know if it's because of the type of glass that Corning used, or if it's just dirty, but it does seem like it's got just a tad bit of yellowing. It might be a little bit hard to tell on camera, but I'm not a fan of the yellowing in refractors. I prefer mine to be nice and clean. I don't know if that's just dirt or what that is. I know sometimes the glass mix can be a little funny over time, but yeah, other than that, it's very beautiful. And you can see that really nice, just 2-way pattern. This would be the back side. All the light would be shining this way pretty much. So yeah, and we'll come back over here to the fixture. You can see the inside here. It's really, really well polished still, even after all this time. You would have had a gasket here. As you can see, there's a lot of glue remnants, and that is something I will add in the future, but I haven't just done it yet. But yeah, I'm sure the gasket would have been probably an asbestos gasket, knowing, you know, what period of time this came from. But yeah, probably a good thing it's not in there then. But yeah, the glue has unfortunately dried over time, but that's not a huge deal. I mean, just look at this thing. You can see, oh, maybe you can't. Well, you can a little bit, but you can kind of see my camera around the edge there and my finger reflecting off as well. So that's pretty cool. And right here, this is the lamp I have in it right now. Just a filament LED, just household bulb. And I got this extender in here just to kind of bring it out into the middle as well. I'll go ahead and set those down. You can see those 3 other bulbs here that we will be testing. I will talk about them in just a moment. But yeah, if we go back up in here, you can see where the socket goes. Now I had to replace the socket because it did get cracked upon removal, sadly. But I went ahead and put a brand new blue pulse rated socket in. And the socket that was in there just had screws, the terminal screws on the back of it. So this one is the same thing as well. So when you pretty much just bring your wire in, you just screw it onto the back of the socket. But you can also remove the socket. You can see on the left and right side where the two screws are, that just mounts into a piece of cast that is actually within this section here. There's an actual like kind of like smaller hole, and then the socket mounts there, and your wires obviously go back out through there. But yeah, the socket's kind of tucked in there, and there is, as far as I can tell, no room for adjustment. But with this thing being so small, I don't really know why you would want to adjust the lighting. So yeah, there's no option for that with something like this. But you can also see this ring here. This just kind of helps it to mount into the slip fitter as well. So yeah, pretty nice. And again, we can look at that latch. It's really nice, and you can see it's riveted in there. Really nice, really clean. Here's this again. The hinge. Pretty cool. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's really all there is to this thing. So we'll go ahead and test out some lamps. Now obviously back in the day, this would have probably ran just an incandescent lamp. But for fun, I got a couple other lamps that I would like to test out. Now with incandescent, I'm going to use this 200 watt incandescent bulb. This is a Moggle base. And for this one, I got a vertical mount filament, which will work really well with how this is designed. In the middle here, I have another filament LED bulb by Westinghouse, and I know I showed one in the last video, but this one's kind of nice. This one I haven't even opened yet, and as you can see, look at that Moggle base. So it's got a Moggle base on it, which will fit seamlessly in this fixture. And right here, this is probably one of my favorite remote self-ballasted bulbs that I have. This is a Hytron self-ballasted mercury bulb. It's a 250/300 watt incandescently ballasted mercury lamp, which is pretty cool. If you look at the top here, you can just vaguely see the filament in there. Of course, as usual, I will start with the incandescent lamp, and we can see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and screw it in, and we'll watch this thing warm up a couple bulbs. Alright, so here's that lovely incandescent bulb. Go ahead and screw that in here. Again, you can kind of see there's not a lot of space between here. Like I said, this is very small, so there isn't a lot of room. But that's pretty much the biggest incandescent lamp you could put in. Alright, this is my 1960s Revere UrbanLite running a 200 watt incandescent lamp in 1, 2, 3. Ooh. It's very warm. Those incandescent bulbs are very, very, very bright. Yeah, it's pretty hot actually. Putting my hand up to it right now, it's pretty much radiating a lot of heat. Yeah, it's not too warm on the top yet. I will say it is really pretty though. And with that horizontal filament in there, it really works well with how the reflector is designed. And yeah, looking at it from a couple different angles, it's pretty nice. So let's go ahead and kind of get closer to it. You can really take a nice look at that incandescent lamp. Yeah. Nice little pan there. You can see it has a really nice reflection. It's a little hard to look at with my bare eyes just because it's so small and it's really pushing a lot of light out. I like the back side actually kind of the most. With all those details, you know, going along the back here, it almost reminds me of like a high bay fixture, which is really cool. We'll go under it, take a look at that logo. Oh, nice. Very cool. If you guys want to pause the video just to kind of look at it, yeah. I'm going along the front again. Oh yeah, pretty cool. It's really nice seeing those little triangles there. Yeah, I really like the back side, actually, funny enough, the most. Yeah, like I said, it gives off kind of a high bay look to it. I will say, let's see how the top feels. Oh yeah, getting pretty warm. This thing would melt snow pretty easily if it snowed out. But yeah, I would say if anyone ever gets one of these, I'd be very careful running it on a bed or something with an incandescent lamp like this in it. Just because there's so much heat buildup in here, you'd have to really be careful to not stress the glass out too much, or if you have it faced down with the glass and on like a bed or something, I'd be careful touching the top too, because yeah, let me feel it again. Yeah, it's getting kind of warm. I'm assuming eventually this could burn my hand. So, but yeah, it's just remember that, because this is a Streetlight, not really a toy. But yeah, the incandescent bulb looks really wonderful in it. So let me go ahead. I'll take that out and we'll put the LED bulb in next. All right, I went ahead and took that lamp out now that it's cooled down a bit. But next we got the filament LED, and I do have it out of the box. I was gonna see if there's a logo real quick that I could show you guys, and there is, of course, a logo, and the camera never ever likes to focus, so I'm gonna put my finger in there to help it a little bit. Come on, come on. Oh, there we go. Yep, you see Westinghouse on it. And again, we got that nice Moggle base. Oh, what the heck. There we go. We got that nice Moggle base on there. So no adapters are required for that. And yeah, you can see as I'm putting it in. Oh. I was having all sorts of trouble. There we go. You can see, I have no idea why that wasn't fitting in there, right? But yeah, you can see it fits pretty nicely in there. So let me go ahead and get the glass back on. Fixture, there we go. All right. Okay. So second lamp, this is my 1960s Revere UrbanLite running a 32 watt Westinghouse filament LED bulb in 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's bright. Kind of awkward. Kind of like the last fixture I reviewed, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this one. I will say it looks a little bit better. Something that I see on camera that I actually see as well with my own eyes is kind of maybe a dark spot kind of at the bottom here. I don't know why. It's very unusual. But let's go ahead and get closer to it and see how it looks. Alright, so here's that lamp in there. Yeah, something I noticed, and it really is just kind of the filament. It probably would be a little bit better in the field, but you can see kind of a line through here. Visually, I don't like that, but I will say for a two-way pattern along the road, if you come further away from it, it looks better. I will say for the two-way pattern, though, it probably does the job. But yeah, it definitely has a very different look compared to the incandescent. I don't really see that high bay effect anymore. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's as visually appealing as the incandescent lamp was. Let's go ahead and look at that logo again. Yeah, definitely can see a sine wave there in the camera as well. Yeah, I'd say it's okay. I'm not as big of a fan. Like I said, when you go further away from it, it looks a whole lot better, actually. When you get kind of close to it, it's a little awkward just because of the filament. You're able to focus in a little bit better on it. But yeah, there's not really much to see here with this one. So I'll go ahead and get that last bulb in. But now we can install that beautiful high trend self-ballasted lamp. this one will be a lot more interesting to watch since it'll warm up for us. And just kind of remove that real quick just so you can kind of get a visual as to what it looks like. Again, kind of like the incandescent bulb, same envelope shape. Fits in pretty well. So go ahead and put that back on. And get those lights off so we can warm it up. All right, third lamp. This is my Revere, or excuse me, this is my 1960s Revere UrbanLite running a 300 watt, running a 250 watt / 300 watt self-ballasted mercury vapor lamp in 1, 2, 3. Definitely gives off a little bit of heat, not as much as the incandescent, but pretty nice, pretty nice. Of course, there might not be as much of a transition, so yeah, we'll go ahead though and watch it warm up. Alright, the fixture is at full brightness, and let me feel that real quick. Yeah, it is pretty warm as well. Ooh, that's a little hot. I actually thought I could hear metal bending on that, which is kind of funny. It definitely goes to show how warm that little thing gets. But let's go ahead and take a close look at it. Now, compared to the LED, I will say I like this a lot better. Yeah, you can hear kind of a clicking sound coming from it. It sounds like it's getting very warm, but we can take a look at the refractor real quick. Yeah, really nice. I will say this looks a lot better in it. I guess if this was actually a clear lamp, it'd look even cooler, but yeah, it's very warm actually right now. So like when I put my hand on the top here, it's kind of hard to touch it. So yeah, well, I'll get kind of a closer look at the detail. I actually like this one just as much as the incandescent, if not maybe a little more than the incandescent. I actually like the way it looks. So I guess they definitely were made for mercury lamps then, which is cool. Let's go ahead and look at the logo real quick. Yeah, you can see the logo there. Looks pretty cool. And yeah, I'd say the back probably has kind of somewhat of a high bay look to it. Most high bays have clear lamps though, so I don't see that detail as much. But yeah, this one's nice. I actually really like this one particular bulb in here. Pretty cool. Yeah, you can hear it, you can hear it, you know, you can hear it clicking because it's just so warm. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good look at it. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off just in case it gets too hot. Alright, go ahead and shut it off here before we wrap up. Oh wow, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's like really warm. Even the rim's kind of hot. Wow, there is a lot of heat. I know I didn't leave the incandescent lamp on as long as this one, but something I noticed, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing with these, but with all the heat that it gives off, because you got to think, you got a pretty big lamp inside this tiny fixture, so I'm wondering, these weren't around very long. I'm wondering if these ever had any issues where, you know, the glass here would get too hot or anything and just crack over time due to stress. I will say, I mean, this is a thin wall right here, so heat can radiate out of here very quickly, but yeah, just hearing some of the like tinking noises coming from it, you know, that's the kind of sound you hear when things get really warm and you know, metal bends. So yeah, I'm not sure if these ever had issues with, you know, the glass getting stress on it and breaking or anything, but I would definitely be very careful as to what type of lamps I put in here. You know, I put a high wattage mercury lamp in here, so I would definitely say 175 is probably pushing it, maybe just a little bit. I wouldn't even put a 250 in here, but a 100 watt would probably do fine in here, and then I'm sure a 150 or maybe a 200 watt incandescent would do. But I will say, if you wanted to, this lamp here would probably be the best option for cool running, but I will say with the circuitry here in the bottom and how much this thing traps heat, this lamp probably will fail prematurely. But anyway, yeah, that's really all I have to say on that. And one more thing before I go here, I just want to say, because I know I was referencing these two things at the beginning of the video, I just discovered doing an image search. Let me go to listing here. Look at that. Postcard, Paragon Beach, 1966. Look at that. This is a postcard from back then that shows all the stuff, and you can see all the names and stuff on here, which is really cool. But if we go back to the first image, it's a little hard to tell on here, but this one is pretty darn high in definition. So I went ahead and bought it just for keepsakes, and I also bought as well, if I can go back, please go back to the order details, thank you. I went ahead and bought this ad. I know the one I showed at the beginning of the video had that retarded copyright on it, but I went ahead and bought it, and I will just keep that in my collection since I have this fixture anyway. So yeah, I'll upload high definition scans of those, and I will definitely post them on Facebook and Lighting Gallery. I'm excited to post, let me go back to it again. I'm very excited about this one though. Now if you guys want to see a picture of this on Facebook, go on Vintage Street Lighting. Someone actually got a picture of this already, although the picture is kind of low resolution, but I'll re-upload this one in high definition just in case anyone wants to save it as a background or anything, and I'll make some posts about it. But yeah, thought I'd show you guys that cool purchase I just made. And before we go here, I'd just like to say I'm very happy that I got a chance to review this fixture. This has definitely been on my bucket list for a long time now. And if there's anything you guys know about these fixtures, of course, that I don't know, please let me know down in the comments below. And I encourage, if anyone sees these fixtures being removed by chance, to try and save them. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and if you're new, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. I recorded. Yeah, use my clean underwear. I would make direct contact with this. Holy crap. That is warm. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. Oh yay. I might have scorched my underwear. Anyway.